What if you've been waiting all your life for a voice that never existed, a voice that would tell you it's okay, that you are allowed to be? You look for permission in the eyes of others, in books, in rules, in soft smiles that do not reach the corners of their mouths. You bend, you shrink, you silence yourself, and all the while you are listening to an echo that only you can hear. Have you noticed how quiet it becomes when no one is watching? The silence is sharp, almost painful. You begin to hear the thoughts you've carefully ignored, the ones that tell you you are enough, or perhaps too much. You have carried yourself like a fragile vessel, expecting that someone, somewhere, would grant you permission to claim space, to breathe, to feel, yet that voice, that validation, it never comes, and still, you wait. Ask yourself this: what have you been hiding from yourself? The truth is often quiet. It does not shout, it waits, and when it appears, it does not comfort, it unsettles. There is a moment, a subtle shift, when you begin to notice how often you have given power to the opinions of ghosts, ghosts of your parents, of teachers, of friends, voices you internalized without knowing, voices that still judge you. Even now, permission is a dangerous thing to crave, because it places your life outside of your own hands. You have been practicing obedience to a silent, invisible authority, one that exists only in your mind. Do you feel it? That tightness in your chest? The one that flinches whenever you imagine doing something forbidden or simply for yourself. It is not shame. It is power. The power of life waiting to be claimed. The danger of emotions you have buried, because you feared what they might do, if unleashed. And now, you sit in this moment, alone, with no external approval, no guiding hand, no soft word from anyone, just the slow, deliberate ticking of your mind. It is cold but precise. It is indifferent. And yet, somehow, it is honest. Consider this. If no one gives you permission, what would you do? Not tomorrow, not later, not when the world is ready, but now. Would you shrink as you always have, or would you finally see that the voice you were waiting for was always meant to be yours? This is the first question you must face before you take another step. Not a question with an answer, not a comfort, just a quiet, haunting acknowledgement. You have been waiting for permission from everywhere but yourself, and the day you stop waiting, the world will not notice, but you will. You have been careful, careful with your words, careful with your presence, careful with the way you let the world touch you, and the way you touch the world in return. No one sees it, not fully, the way you hold your pain close, how you hide the trembling, quiet parts of yourself, even from your own reflection, and yet, it is real. It is not weakness to feel deeply. It is not failure to have been broken, repeatedly, by things you did not even understand. You have carried burdens that were never yours to bear. You have absorbed the judgments, the anger, the fear of people who never looked at you, and somehow, you survived. Think about it. The moments when you wanted to scream, but swallowed the sound. The moments when you wanted to cry, but let silence fall instead. All those quiet, invisible battles, they are yours, and they are valid. You've been punished by expectation, by comparison, by invisible rules, and by the self that learned to obey those rules without ever asking why, and still, you feel the weight of it every day, every hour, every small choice is touched by that invisible hand. It is okay to notice this. It is okay to admit the truth of your exhaustion. It is okay to acknowledge that you are not fine. Even if the world pretends you should be, you do not need to hide it any longer, not from yourself. You are not broken in the way they told you. You are fractured, fragmented, shaped by forces you never controlled, and yet, there is a strange kind of completeness in that. Every hidden fear, every shame you buried, every part of yourself you silenced, they exist. And that existence is enough. Notice how your body reacts, the tightness in your chest, the hollow echo in your stomach, the way your mind twists at the thought of finally being honest. These sensations are not weakness, they are your own power. The raw, dangerous, undeniable force of life that you have been suppressing to survive. You have survived without permission, without validation, without recognition. And somehow that is profound. It is not applause-worthy. It is not heroic. It is quietly terrifying and real. No one has to see it for it to matter. No one has to understand it for it to exist. Your struggle, your endurance, your deep, dangerous emotions, they are yours and they are true. Let yourself feel that, without trying to fix it, without needing a solution, without seeking comfort. This acknowledgement, this simple truth that you are seen by yourself is more powerful than anything you have been waiting for. You are allowed to be tired. You are allowed to be angry. You are allowed to be silent. You are allowed to exist. In all your fragmented, raw, quiet, dangerous self, there is a place inside you. A narrow, cold corridor where your desires and fears collide. You have built walls here, walls made of shoulds, oughts, and invisible rules. Walls you cannot see but feel pressing against your ribs. And yet, behind those walls, your impulses wait, the things you want, the things you secretly long for, the life you imagine but never claim. They whisper in the dark, like shadows moving just beyond the edge of your vision. You tell yourself you cannot have them, because you must be careful, because someone might disapprove, because the world is fragile, and you are not allowed to risk the fractures. But these are lies, silent lies, repeated so often that you began to believe them yourself. Notice the tension. It curls around your spine, presses at your throat, a constant reminder of your divided self. You are torn between what is demanded and what is alive inside you, between safety and the chaos of being wholly yourself. And here lies the dangerous truth. You have been practicing obedience to a world that never asked for your consent. You have been negotiating with ghosts, while your own life silently slipped through your hands. And the strangest thing is that you cannot remember when it began. You have been both prisoner and jailer, imprisoning the self you long to explore, and punishing yourself for wanting more, for wanting differently. The tension is not accidental, it is intentional. Your psyche, shaping, molding, containing what it cannot yet allow to exist freely, equal to, do you feel it? The quiet gnawing, the uneasy awareness that every choice you make, every word you withhold, every gesture of compliance is carved from fear and longing, entangled in a dangerous dance you did not choose, equal to. And yet, that is the place of awakening, not in triumph, not in relief, but here, in this cold, raw confrontation with your divided self, where the part that wants and the part that obeys face each other in silence, equal to. You might not like what you see, the parts you have buried, the resentments, the secret desires, the anger, they will rise in your mind, not politely, not softly, but with a weight that makes your body flinch. This is not shame, it is honesty, and it is dangerous, equal to. You have been negotiating between comfort and truth, between safety and existence, and the corridors inside you have grown narrow with the compromises. Every whispered no you have said to yourself has tightened the walls, and every yes you have hidden has gathered power, quiet, patient, waiting, equal to. There is a reckoning in this tension, not loud, not dramatic, just the slow, unyielding awareness that the self you obeyed was never fully yours, and the self you crave will not ask permission from you or anyone else, equal to. Sit with that for a moment, with the friction, the unease, the coldness of it. This is where your mind has been, between ghosts and truth, between safety and life, between obedience and your own dangerous power, equal to. This is the quiet battlefield of your psyche, and it has always been inside you. There comes a moment when the weight you've carried quietly for years becomes unbearable, not in a dramatic scream, not in a flood of words or protests, but in silence, a silence so complete it feels like the walls around you are pressing closer, tight, cold, unyielding. You might be sitting alone or standing in a crowded room. Yet the world fades, and inside, your chest tightens, your stomach twists. The heart pounds in a rhythm that does not match your breath. And for a moment, you are untethered, suspended between what is real and what you have always denied. It is not a cry for help. It is not even grief. It is the body and the mind finally acknowledging the impossible. You have been surviving without living. You have been obeying without permission from yourself. Tears may come, or maybe they do not. It does not matter. What matters is the quiet unraveling, the slow fraying of the self you have curated, the part of you that smiles, nods, complies, while the true self waits, dangerous, raw, untamed, beneath the surface. Do you notice how small this breakdown feels? Not epic, not cinematic, just intimate, private, a tremor inside you that the world will not see, and perhaps that no one could endure if they did. Your emotions have been silenced for survival, but now they whisper. They do not shout. They do not ask permission. They do not negotiate. They are subtle and precise, and they carry a dangerous clarity. Anger rises quietly. Grief coils like a serpent in the chest. Longing presses against the ribs. Fear sharpens at the edges of your thoughts. And all of it is yours, not anyone else's, not borrowed, not imposed, yours. You may try to name it, to classify it, to make sense of it. But the breakdown resists. It does not fit into words or plans. It does not yield to logic. It is pure, undiluted, and terrifying. And in this moment, you feel the truth that you have avoided for so long. You cannot control it. You cannot negotiate it. You cannot apologize for it. And perhaps you do not need to. Perhaps the breakdown is not a failure. Perhaps it is the first step toward meeting the self you have denied, the self you have hidden, the self you have longed to be, quietly, dangerously, fully. It is not a release, not yet. It is a fracture, a tremor in the foundation, a warning that the old ways of obedience and compromise will no longer hold the shape of your life. Sit with that. Let the silence press against you. Let the weight settle. Feel how dangerous and alive your emotions can be when finally acknowledged, even in their quietest, darkest forms. This is the breakdown that no one sees. This is the moment where survival confronts life. And you, for the first time in a long while, there is a part of you, a part you have hidden, denied, and feared, so carefully that you may have forgotten it exists. It is the shadow, not a monster, not a villain, but a mirror of everything you have refused to see in yourself. It carries the anger you thought was wrong, the envy you shamed, the desire you silenced, the parts of your mind that the world would never approve, and yet it's quietly, patiently, because it cannot act without acknowledgement, because it cannot exist fully until you do. Notice how it feels to face what you have buried, not in words, not in explanations, but in the raw, dangerous presence of yourself, the parts you have denied permission to live. It may feel like a weight pressing into your chest, or a whisper at the edge of thought, or a shadow moving across the corner of your vision, telling you truths you have avoided. You have ignored me, it says. You have denied me, and you feel a strange, almost terrifying recognition. The shadow does not ask for comfort, It does not offer solutions, it only shows everything you have hidden to survive, everything you have silenced to belong, everything you have denied in the name of safety. And here is the dangerous clarity. The day you stop asking for permission is the day you meet the shadow, not outside yourself, not as an enemy, but as the unlived life within you, the parts you rejected, the life you refused to claim. Because someone else's voice felt louder. It is uncomfortable, it is uncanny, it is not pleasant. You may wish to look away, but there is no escape. The shadow exists in the spaces you avoid, in the corners of your mind, in the silent chambers of your heart, in the moments you pretend are ordinary. And yet, it is not punishment, it is not judgment. It is truth, the truth that you have lived half a life, obedient to invisible rules, and that there is another life waiting, raw, unfiltered, dangerous, yours. Do you feel it? The tension of being confronted by the parts of yourself you were told to hide, by the desires you were told were wrong, by rage, the grief, the longing, that never fit in polite conversation, that never fit in anyone's approval. And yet, the shadow is not enemy, it is guide, not in comfort, not in praise, but in raw honesty. It reveals where your power is buried, where your forbidden desires linger, where your emotions, dangerous, alive, wait to be claimed. Do not rush. Do not try to fix it. Do not seek validation. Sit with the shadow. Breathe it in. Notice how it trembles, how it presses, how it demands acknowledgement. Without mercy, without explanation, without compromise. The day you stop asking for permission, the day you face the shadow, is the day you stop living someone else's life and begin to inhabit your own. Not loudly, not triumphantly, but quietly, dangerously, fully. After the shadow speaks, after the weight of your buried truths presses against your chest, you begin to notice a change. Not relief, not joy, not triumph, but a quiet distance, a space forming between you and the chaos you have carried for so long. You watch your emotions without rushing to fix them, without labeling them good or bad, without trying to make sense of their intensity. They are powerful and dangerous, but they no longer control you. Notice the subtle shift. The anger that once consumed you now flickers, a small contained flame. The grief that once crushed you now sits, like a shadow in the corner of the room, present but not overwhelming. It is not detachment as numbness, it is not turning away, it is recognition, observation, quiet acknowledgement of what exists within you without being devoured by it. You may feel strange, almost alien, to witness yourself this way. To let the emotions swirl without trying to act on them, without seeking comfort, without looking for an external nod of approval. This detachment is a kind of power, cold, precise, unforgiving. It is the space where you can finally see how much of yourself you have been giving away to everyone and to everything, except the one person who mattered, yourself. You notice how much quieter the world seems, not because the world changed, but because your mind no longer clings, no longer reacts to every whisper, every judgment, every shadow of expectation. You are observing, without entangling yourself, without permission, without compromise, and yet, do not mistake this detachment for ease. It is not comfort, it is not safety, it is awareness. The awareness that your emotions, your desires, your longings exist, and that you are capable of witnessing them without being consumed. It is strange how powerful it feels to stop fighting, to stop obeying, to stop asking for approval, and simply be present with yourself in your own dangerous mind. You may feel a coldness settle, not cruelty, not indifference, but clarity, the clarity that you do not need permission from anyone to exist, to think, to feel, to act. You are alone. And in that aloneness, there is authority, quiet, unyielding. This phase is not the end. It is not liberation, not yet. It is a pause, a deliberate space. where you can see your emotions as they are, raw, dangerous, undeniable, without needing to respond, without needing to hide. And in this space, you may feel for the first time the subtle power of being untethered, of being unclaimed, of being yours. It is cold, it is quiet, it is unsettling, and it is necessary. After the silence, after the detachment, there comes a shift, not loud, not triumphant, just cold, slow, unforgiving. You begin to feel the weight of your own authority, the authority that was always yours, but that you surrendered to whispers, expectations, shadows, to every silent permission you thought you needed, from the world, from others, from yourself. It is not a warm awakening. It is precise, measured, like ice spreading through your veins, sharp, clear, undeniable. You notice the power in knowing that no one can command you, that no one can approve you, that no one can unmake you. Your emotions are no longer chains, they are signals, indicators of what is alive, what is dangerous, what is yours. You feel the pulse of yourself, not as a creature seeking approval, but as an entity quietly sovereign, undeniable in its presence. There is a cold joy in this, not the kind that smiles, or seeks applause, or demands recognition. It is the joy of recognition itself, of clarity, of knowing your own mind, your own rules, your own edges, and standing within them, without compromise. You may notice how small the world seems when you stop negotiating with it. The voices that once dictated your choices, the eyes that once measured your worth, fade into irrelevance, not because they are gone, but because you no longer need them. And yet, this power is not loud, it does not shout. It is a quiet, patient force, like ice on a dark lake, solid, cold, impossible to shift, and completely your own. Do you feel it? The way your thoughts move differently, the way your decisions carry weight, not because the world validates them, but because you do. Not because others agree, but because you finally stopped asking permission. It is dangerous, this reclamation of self, because it cannot be taken lightly, cannot be hidden, cannot be reversed. It is a slow, inexorable return to the authority that was yours all along. Notice how it changes you, the subtle shift in posture, the quiet firmness in your voice, the ability to feel without fear, to act without hesitation, to exist without explanation, to be without apology. There is no celebration, no cheering crowd, no announcement, just the cold, undeniable recognition that you are sovereign, that your mind, your emotions, your life are yours, and yours alone. And in this quiet, terrifying sovereignty, you find what you have been searching for, not outside, not in permission, not in approval, but inside, cold, clear, unyielding. This is the day you stop asking. This is the day you begin to move through the world, not seeking validation, but simply being. The world will not notice. It never does. No one will step forward to say, "You have changed." No one will bow to the quiet reclamation of your mind. No one will applaud the sovereignty you quietly carry. And yet, that does not matter. You do not exist for their recognition. You exist in the raw, unflinching presence of yourself. There is a strange calm in this realization. Not warmth, not comfort, not the soft glow of approval, but the cold, sharp, undeniable calm of knowing that your life is yours, and yours alone. No one can touch this space, the space inside you where you have faced the shadow, where you have felt the fracture, where you have observed, without compromise, without hiding, without permission. And in that quiet, there is power, not the kind that moves mountains, not the kind that demands attention, but the kind that moves you, that shifts your mind, that lets you see life, without being entangled in it, without needing anyone else's approval, without asking, It is strange how dangerous it feels to simply exist, to acknowledge your own mind, to honor your own dangerous, untamed emotions, without explanation, without apology, without permission. No one will call this freedom. No one will understand it. It will not make sense to the world, because the world does not inhabit your shadow, your silence, your private sovereignty. And perhaps that is the point. This life, your life, was never meant to be validated externally. The recognition, the authority, the power have always existed inside you. You have only needed to stop waiting, so you move quietly through the world that does not see you. And yet, you are fully, unapologetically present. Every thought, every pulse, every dangerous flicker of feeling belongs to you, and you alone. It is unsettling, because you have always sought reassurance, because you have always feared that the world would judge you, that someone would withdraw, that approval would be denied. But now, the permission you sought is unnecessary. It is irrelevant. It was never outside you, and it is no longer required. You are not triumphant, you are not celebrated, you are quiet, still, and yet, in that stillness, you carry an authority that cannot be taken, cannot be questioned, cannot be ignored, and in this moment, you understand that the life you live, the emotions you feel, the choices you make, are your own, no one else's, and nothing, not a whisper, a rule, a shadow, can ever undo it. This is the calm, the cold, the quiet of the day you stop needing permission, and it is yours.